Hey travelers, how are you? This is Nitzan Mosery, your traveling investor, coming to you live, w4cy.com, every week, Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And you know, I bring you only the best. So this week we came out of a Thanksgiving feast, and I want to say thank you to all the travelers out there, all over the world, listening in, getting it inspired, getting out of your comfort zone. Because, you know, I always say your comfort zone will kill you, right? And going out there and doing the best that you can and making your life your masterpiece on the canvas that we call life. So I want to thank you all for being a part of that. It's been a great week. I personally was able to take my family up to the Carolina Mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Pisgah National Falls, and so forth, and go hiking and enjoy that. And that's part of why I'm doing this, is because I want a lot of other people out there in the world to be able to go out there and enjoy life, go out there and experience life, right? We talk about, health for the mind, health for the body, health for the soul. Everything that we do has to be oriented to longevity, to getting our life in order and getting the most out of what we do with our time on this earth, because, we're all in this together and nobody gets out of this game alive. So it's what we do while we're on this planet and how we create our lives, right? Zig Ziglar has it best. He goes, are we a wandering generality or are we a meaningful specific? Right. And so, we here at the Traveling Investor on a weekly basis, we want to come and we give you the best people, the experts in the industry, to help you achieve and help you go to the next level, wherever and whatever that may be for you. It makes no difference. And leading into that, this week we've got an incredible guest, and he's right here with me. Ben Azadi. Ben, he's on a mission. This guy is on a mission. Now, when we talk about setting goals, and, if your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. This guy's got an incredible goal, man. He's on a mission. He's on a mission to help 1 billion people live a healthier lifestyle. 1 billion people. That's huge. That's incredible. Let's say, let's say he shoots for 1 billion, he gets half, right? That's half 1 billion. Do you understand where he's going? But I know this guy, and I've read a lot about him. I've looked him up. I've researched him, and this guy is going to go out there and he is making it happen, and he's going to reach more than 1 billion people. I'm sure about it. Ben, thanks for being on the show. How are you?
Oh, that's such a great intro, brother. I'm doing out of this world fantastic. I really am grateful to just have this platform with your audience. So thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I love the flag behind you. That's a great shot. That's fantastic. And I have my painting that my wife painted for me back there, Yoda. And I tell everybody that walks in here, I ask them, why Yoda? Right? What is Yoda's famous saying, right? Do or do not do. There is no try. Right. So that's my thing behind me as well, is, do it. It's okay if we fail. And that's what I teach my kids as well. You saw them here a little while ago. I teach everybody and everyone, just do it. If you fail, that's okay, but you got to go out and do it. And I appreciate the flag in the back. That's awesome. So what's the story? I see you're an FDNP. Can you, for the people out there listening, what do those letters mean after your name?
Yes. So what that means is essentially I'm a certified health coach. So that means functional diagnostic nutritioner practitioner. So that this course that I took, the FDN course, it teaches you how to run lab works on clients, how to investigate dysfunction in the body and bring it back to function. And that's pretty much the way we were designed. Whether you believe in God, the universe, Mother Nature, we were designed to thrive, right? We were actually designed to live 120 years without disease.
Absolutely.
That's not happening, right? We see so much disease. We see an epidemic of obesity and diabetes, which we'll get into. So my job is to investigate what interference does this person in front of me have, and let's remove the interference and let the body heal itself. So I don't treat test results. I don't treat the person. I treat the holistic approach to remove the interference and get the body that has this innate intelligence to heal itself. So in a nutshell, that's what I do with FDNB.
That's amazing. I don't know if you know this, but when I was living in Israel, I studied naturopathic medicine. I became a Reiki master. I studied shiatsu and so forth. And I truly believe that we have the capability to live very, very long, healthy lives if we just know how to maintain the machine that we call the body.
Mm.
Right? We have the ability, the body has the ability to heal itself if we just let it. Right? So what got you into the health field?
Yeah, and I didn't know that you had that background. I think that's really, really cool, and I acknowledge you for that. And I 100% agree. We have this innate intelligence. Let it do its thing, just remove the interference and it will do its thing. And we'll talk about some ways to do that. So what got me into the health space was my own transformation. I was actually obese growing up. I was the big fat kid growing up, low self-confidence. I mean, you talked about failure. I was terrified of trying anything because of failure.
Wow.
And my mindset was worse than what I looked like. How I felt was worse than how I looked like. And I looked very much unhealthy. I show slides at my lectures of when I was 24 years old. I'm obese, man. I look huge.
Wow.
And I'm 34 years old today. And I'm asking the audience, do you think I look younger right here in front of you at 34 years old or 22 years old in this photo? And they're all saying I look younger as 34 years old because I'm healthy now. So I went through this transformation about 10 and a half years ago where I hit rock bottom. And that was the only reason why I decided to change my life, because up until that point, you talk about, I wrote down the quote, wandering generality. That's what I was. Like, I was hypnotized, tiptoeing my way through life, hoping to make it safely to death. And if my heart would have stopped beating at the age of 24, it would have just been a mere formality because I was not alive, And I had to hit rock bottom for me to actually have a creative thought, an original thought to say, hey, man, I got to do something about this. So I was rock bottom, and my ex-girlfriend broke up with me, and I was in this dark space where I had suicidal thoughts. I was depressed, and what actually stopped me from pursuing my bad thoughts was my mother. I kept picturing my mother and what I would leave for her if I took my life. So I never pursued it because of my mother, and I used rock bottom as a launch board to spring out of there, because I started reading books, and books opened up a whole new world and created an awareness in me that let me understand, as far down as I was down there, I knew I could go the opposite direction. And it all started the moment I said, I am responsible, because I was blaming everyone and everything up until that point. So everything shifted 9 months from that decision that I am responsible. I lost 80 pounds. I went from 34% body fat to 6% body fat. And I had this huge physical transformation, and more important than that, I transformed my mental health. I carved out a rock hard mental six-pack. And I think that's even more important than a physical six-pack. So that was the starting point for me getting into the health industry.
Wow. Okay. So that's an amazing story. And I guess, for a lot of people listening and checking us out, a lot of times you got to hit rock bottom. Rock bottom, some people are afraid of rock bottom. It can be a dangerous place if you hang out there too long. But I think a lot of people need to hit rock bottom so that they can come out. And when you bounce back from that, it's just, it's an incredible, it's like a shooting star, blazing the sky. Right, you go out there and you have this new fervor for life, this new zest, this new passion, this new desire. It's like you have this call, this agenda that you got to go out and achieve for everyone. So that's fantastic. And so you went out there, you realized, okay, I got to make a change for myself. Did you start reading books? For our travelers out there right now that are listening, I want to share with them as well. One thing is that, travelers, it doesn't matter if you're buying commercial real estate. It doesn't matter if you're sitting behind a desk. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor, if you're an attorney. It doesn't matter what, right? When I go to the gym, my trainer tells me 80% is the food that you put into your body, right? You can work out, but if you're not fueling your body correctly, your mind isn't going to be sharp. Your body is not going to function. We won't be able to do the things that we want to do. Our minds won't let us achieve success. So it doesn't matter what aspect of life we're in. Doesn't matter what career or what we're doing. Always having a healthy lifestyle, right? The food that you put in your mouth, the things that we watch on TV that we put into our minds, the books that we read that we put into our minds, the emotions and the energy that we surround ourselves with, all that comes into us, and it actually comes out, it portrays itself in the way we look and the way we think and our success. And success is not financial, right? Success can be success with your family, with your friends, with your community, anything of that nature, your personal relationships with your children, with your spouse, whatever it is. Success has many, has many ways of coming forth. So when we're talking here, know that it doesn't matter where you are in life right now, you can always begin. Every moment is a new possibility to start again. And we have a gentleman here, Ben, who actually, I mean, if you guys could see him, and some of you will when you check us out here, you're going to see he looks fantastic. You know, he says he was obese and whatnot. You look at him today, he looks like the picture of health, and it's fantastic. But also, it enables him to think correctly, have a sharp mind, wake up in the morning. You know, successful people, we wake up a lot earlier than everybody else, right? Entrepreneurs, right? We wake up when everybody else is sleeping. We go to bed when everybody else is sleeping. We need to fuel our bodies so that we can sustain that, so there's longevity in that, so that we can work and we can achieve and we can build. So Ben, when you had that realization, when you hit rock bottom and you saw your mom and whatnot, where did you go to start your journey?
Yeah, and I want to just piggyback on what you said, because you just touched upon so many golden pearls that just came out of your mouth. Your listeners are primarily entrepreneurs. I mean, every single person is an entrepreneur. You are your own business. Like, your kids are entrepreneurs. Everybody's an entrepreneur in my book. So if you want every area of your life to upgrade, your finances, your relationships, it starts with your health. You know, your health is your true wealth. If you could prioritize your health with the tips I'm going to share with you, and you take action on what I'm sharing, and I don't want you to believe what I'm saying, I want you to do your research and try it out for yourself. But if you take action with it, you're going to upgrade every area in your life. If you are an entrepreneur right now and you are solely focusing on money, which I am all for earning a lot of money, but if that's your sole focus with your health being sacrificed, you're selfish, because your family suffers because you don't have the energy for your kids. You don't have the energy to go to the Carolina mountains like Nissan just did and have energy for your family. So, and then what happens when you get sick? Your family needs to take care of you. So if you're not taking care of your health, you're selfish, number one. And I mean that with the most love, a big brother love. And yeah, so I'm going to share some things with you. So yeah, I started reading books. Books opened up a whole new world to me. I started surrounding myself, my daily habits, with people that were going to uplift me. So I had to cut a lot of people out of my life who were just not on the same frequency as my new frequency, right? It didn't mean I got rid of them. It just meant that I saw them less often and I hung out with them less amount of time when I did see them.
Right.
And it wasn't really until 5 years into it that my purpose was revealed to me, because I went through my weight loss transformation. I started my first company as a personal trainer, and I was doing all that. I was helping a lot of people get healthy. I made a lot of mistakes, which is great because I get to share with you what works now. But it wasn't until 5.5 years ago that my purpose was actually revealed to me. And I would love to share that with your audience.
Yeah, please.
So my father got really sick. He actually struggled with type 2 diabetes for most of my life. And if anybody listening to this has a family member or had a family member that had any kind of illness, or knows somebody who has a family member that has an illness, you would really relate to this. My father had type 2 diabetes, and I trusted the medical system. I was just doing what they were telling me to do. I was taking him to his appointments, getting his medication, making sure it was refilled, taking him to Publix and letting him take his insulin. And Publix is the grocery store, by the way. Right. So he ended up getting a massive stroke 5.5 years ago, and he lost the ability to speak, and he got paralyzed his entire right side of his body. And he was bedridden. And this is my father, who just days previous to that, he was talking, he was walking, he was fine. And then all of a sudden, in an instant, he has a stroke and he can't talk anymore. I can't communicate with my father. And I'm watching him and I'm visiting him every single week as his health gets worse and worse and worse. And his body is just shrinking before my eyes. Every week I visit him. And I visited him for 9 months until one Monday night, it was August 12th. 2014, Monday night. I remember it like it was just this morning, actually. I went to go visit my father. He was throwing up all over himself. He was convulsing. He was in the worst shape that I have ever seen him. And this is not what you want to see from somebody you love, somebody that your only father, your only family member,
Sure.
any family member. Anyways, they cleaned him up, and he looked better. They cleaned him up. I gave him a kiss on the forehead, and I told my dad that I am his son. You're my father, and I love you, and I will see you soon. And I uttered the words "Hasta la vista, baby," because this is something he used to say to me all the time when I was young from the movie Terminator. So I said, "Hasta la vista, baby. I'll see you soon." And I got home that night, and I started praying. And I just started saying this prayer over and over. Please end my father's suffering. He has suffered enough, over and over and over. And then I went to bed. The next day, I received a phone call, and I knew it was from the hospital. And as soon as I saw that call come in, just chills came all over my body. I didn't know what to expect. And I picked up the phone, and it was my father's nurse. And she informed me that my father passed away that morning, the morning right after I saw him. So I sat there, and I just had a wave of emotions come all over me. I was crying. I was happy that my father is no longer suffering, and I was so sad that my one and only father is gone. And my dog was just staring at me because he knew something was wrong. Dogs are very intuitive with energy. And ever since that point, I wanted to understand what happened to my father, what's happening to America, what's happening to the world. Why are so many people getting a lifestyle disease that's being treated with medication? It didn't make sense to me. My father had a lifestyle disease that doctors were treating with medication. They wanted him to lose weight, yet they were giving him insulin, which helped him gain weight. And I asked them why, and they didn't really give me a good answer. And I didn't really push them for it. And that was a mistake on my end. So if you're going through something, you got to do your own research. You have to be your own health advocate. I know this day, the information that I share on stage, the information that I share in my books with my clients on podcasts, it's the same information that would have saved my father's life, right? I know that, and I live with that. And I also know that I was given that mountain of what I went through with my father, so I could show others, I could show 1 billion people that this mountain could be moved. And that's what I do. That's why I do what I do. That's why I study every day. That's why I do these podcasts and these conversations to spread the message. And that's why I'm so grateful just to even have this opportunity for one person to listen to this and do some research and change their life and their family's life. So that's my purpose, man. I do it all for my father.
Amen. Amen. You know, when you were talking just now, I was thinking of myself, and my father passed away in 1995. I was 25 years old. He passed away from diabetes as well. Same thing. He didn't take care of himself. He had diabetes from the day that I was born, so that's all I knew. He was a smoker, and he ate whatever he wanted. He didn't listen to the doctors. And then after he got his first stroke, the doctor started giving him medication, and it was just another stroke, and then heart failure, and then a pacemaker, and so forth. And we saw the end. And my brothers and I and my mother, he passed away at home. We were surrounding him when we said goodbye, so we said our goodbyes as well. And that's one of the reasons why I went to study naturopathic medicine and nutrition. I was a raw foodist for 3 to 4 years. I opened up the first raw food restaurant in Israel. So I went out there to study and to understand what happened to my father, because I knew when I was talking to the doctors and I was telling him, we need to fix his diet. We need to fix what he's putting in his mouth. That's what's killing him. And the doctors told me at that time, they said, it doesn't matter what you give him. Just let him enjoy, and just feed him whatever he wants, and just insulin and medication and one after the other. And I'm with you on reaching 1 billion people to live a healthier lifestyle, and it's funny because he went on the Atkins diet, and the Atkins diet actually got him off of insulin. But he's old school. He says, I'm not going to live eating like this. This is not a life. So what did he do? He ate whatever he wanted, caused his family a lot of heartache for many, many years. And then he passed away, and he left me at the age of 25 without a father. Right. So it's there's so much knowledge today. And like you said, if I knew today, back then, the information, I would have told the doctors to stop doing everything. I would have taken care of him. I would have breathed new life back into him. And he would have, gone on for a lot longer. So that's amazing. I'm getting chills now how we have very similar stories on that end and how it took us into the health field. Because when I was living in Israel, I was practicing naturopathic medicine and doing shiatsu and reflexology and nutrition and whatnot. And then when I came back to the U.S. 9 years ago, that's when I got back into commercial real estate and going out there and teaching and promoting and getting both the like I said in my intro, getting the mind health, the body health, and the soul health to work together in optimum health, and then you can achieve anything you want. Then you can breathe anything into existence, and you can have anything that you want by just wishing it, by bringing it out there. So, your story resonates with me and whatnot. Now let's talk about the three books that you wrote. You're a best-selling author of three best-selling books: The Perfect Health Book, The Intermittent Fasting Cheat Sheet, which we hear a lot of lately, right? That's like one of the latest things, right? With the keto and ketogenics and intermittent fasting and all and whatnot. So I'd like to, if you could talk about that on that a little bit, and the power of sleep. I love it. The power of sleep. For many, many years, I've been going around telling people it's all about what we eat and how we sleep. If you don't eat right and you don't sleep enough, you're not going to function. And I love it, the power of sleep. So what drew you to write the books? What are they about? And share some nuggets with our listeners so that they can go and they can achieve, massive health success.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing about what you just shared about your father. It completely resonated with me, touched my heart, brother. And I just acknowledge you for the stand that you are for so many people, not just for finances and real estate, but everything that you've been doing. I really respect it. And that's our pain to purpose message. You got to go through that sometimes to have that message and have it carried through you. Whether you believe in God, the universe, like that message is being delivered through you. And that's what we're doing. So thank you for sharing that. Sleep. Let's start with sleep, because I agree. Sleep is super important. I believe that fixing your sleep first should come before any nutritional change or any gym membership, because like you said, you could be doing all the things right, but if your sleep is crappy, you're not going to get results. It's more important getting quality sleep than the exercise and eating combined. I truly believe that. I wrote about that in my book. There is no, so 7 to 9 hours is the structure, right? If you could at least get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, you're in good shape. You could also use devices to track your sleep. I'm wearing this cool little ring, by the way, you should probably get it. It's called the Oura ring, O-U-R-A. It's the best sleep device. It tracks your sleep, stages of sleep, but that's besides the point. I just wanted to mention it because I think you would like it. If you want to burn fat, a lot of people want to lose body weight. 98% of fat burning, it takes place during sleep. It doesn't take place at the gym. That doesn't take place when you're doing push-ups and burpees. You activate the 6 top fat burning hormones during stage 4 delta sleep. So if you're only getting 4 hours because you're an entrepreneur and you only live once and you're saying all these things, I'll sleep when I die, I got news for you. That's going to happen sooner than later.
Right, you're going to die soon.
You're going to die soon. Yeah. Why not prioritize 7 hours of quality sleep? And then the rest of the time that you're awake, you're super productive. You're burning fat. You have great energy levels instead of sacrificing and getting 4 to 5 hours and being up. Yeah, you're up for longer and you have more time to work on things, but you're productive. Your productivity is dramatically reduced. Your brain function is dramatically reduced and you can't lose weight and you don't feel good. Absolutely. So it doesn't make sense to me when people are saying, I'm going to sacrifice my sleep to do more work. I just got to put in my other head.
Sure. Yeah, so I agree with you, and I have 2 daughters, a 10 and 12-year-old. I have 2 daughters, 10 and 12-year-old. And from the beginning, from the time that they were born, I made sure that they were always sleeping the enough amount of hours, especially when you're a child and your body's growing and building and multiplying and doing things that if you really think about what a child's body is going through while they're growing, it's incredible. And I see a lot of people, their kids are sleeping 6 hours, 5 hours, and they just don't look healthy, and thank God, my daughters, they're up and they're functioning, and it's really important to get those minimum 7 hours. My daughters sleep anywhere between 9 to 10 hours a night right now. And that's just one of the things I'm stringent on, hey, it's bedtime, let's go. You need to get your sleep. Right? Everything works better. Even myself, I used to sleep 6.5 hours and, whatever. And I added that extra half hour, 45 minutes, just to make it 7 hours and maybe even a little bit more. And it's just a world of a difference,
Yeah. I love that you prioritize that for your kids. I acknowledge you for that. And yeah, kids need more sleep, 9-10 hours. They're in that growth phase. So they want to be sleeping. They want to be eating. They want to be in that growth phase. So if you're going to the gym, I'll give you an example. You tear down muscle, right? You tear down small micro tears. That's the way it's supposed to be done. It's a healthy way to do it. You don't build muscle back up until you go to sleep and you repair yourself. That goes for your brain as well. Your brain cleans itself out, your lymphatic system, your glymphatic system. So sleep is where it's at. I'll give you a couple of tips here, and then we can move on to like the keto and the fasting. And I love talking about that. So here are 3 tips for you listeners out there and viewers to get better sleep starting tonight. Number 1, banana tea. Banana tea is a cool little hack, and this is how you make it, and I'll explain how to make it and why it benefits your sleep. So you just get a whole banana, you leave the peel on, however, you cut the ends off of the banana. Make sure it's organic. You put that banana into a pot with about 3 to 4 cups of water, and you let it boil for 5 minutes. What happens is the magnesium peel has more of these micronutrients, the potassium, the magnesium, and these feel-good relaxation micronutrients, has more of that than the actual banana itself. So all of that starts seeping into the water as it boils. Pour that into a cup. Put a little cinnamon. You can put a bag of chamomile tea in there or some reishi mushrooms. That is a great way to calm the brain down and relax. I call it nature's NyQuil, and I learned it from my mentor, Dr. Michael Bruce, who's America's sleep doctor. So banana tea is great. I have that in my book.
Beautiful.
Number 1. Yeah. Number 2 is I wear something called blue blocker glasses. And as soon as the sun goes down, I put these glasses on at night, and they essentially block out blue light. Because what happens is, in this day and age, we have manufactured a brand new daytime. It's really, really amazing because we have all this technology, but it's harmful to our circadian rhythm. When we wake up in the morning, we want cortisol to go up and melatonin to go down, right? We are synced. Our hormones are in sync with Mother Nature, as you know.
Sure.
At nighttime, we want the opposite. We want cortisol to start peaking down, and we want melatonin, which is a sleep hormone, antioxidant, cancer fighting, to go up. This does not happen the way we want it to if we're surrounded by all this stimulation, light bulbs and lamps and cell phones. So these glasses, the blue blocker glasses, they help filter out the blue light, helps you produce more melatonin and less cortisol. So I recommend getting them and also staying away from stimulation as much as possible. So if you're watching the news at night and you're watching some politics and it's getting you all heated, that's going to elevate your heart rate, and you need 60 beats per minute or less just to fall asleep. So don't get your heart rate up at night. Try to wind down with a good book from Zig Ziglar or Jim Rohn or Bob Proctor or Grant Cardone or whoever.
Or Ben Azadi.
Or Ben Azadi. You can read my sleep book. It'll put you to sleep in a good way. And then, that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, make sure your bedroom is cold, meaning 62 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit is where the studies show it's the sweet spot. And take a warm to hot shower an hour before bed. And there you go. Those are 3 powerful tips. They're practical. You could do it tonight, and it'll help you get some good sleep.
That's awesome, man. I'm going to do that. Would it be okay if I posted these tips under your name on my Facebook page and show people?
100%. Yes. I would love that.
Excellent. Fantastic. Great. So the power of sleep. Yeah. And it's amazing. We don't think about what actually happens in the body when we sleep. When I'm on my journey, when I started in the health journey, I read a book by Dr. Ron Gardner, I think his name, probably not. It's After the Doctors, What Can You Do? So I think that's the name. And he was a naturopathic principal in a school that got sick, went on his journey, became a naturopath, and started healing his body through proper nutrition and so forth. And he wrote the book, After the Doctors, What Can You Do? And it just talked about what sleep does, what each type of food does, what caffeine does to your nervous system, what sugar does to your nervous system, what your body actually needs, how your body works, and the circadian rhythm and the delta and all these different brain waves and what happens and so forth in the liver. And amazing. It was great. That kind of just moved me into that direction. And so when I was reading this book and you understand what actually happens in the body when you're sleeping, your body is cleaning itself. Your body is restoring itself. It's rejuvenating itself. It's multiplying itself. It's doing all these incredible things. And if we don't give it enough time to do what it needs to do, we're going to go into a state of dis-ease, and all these different symptoms are going to come about us. And it was a big eye opener. And since then I've been very conscious of my sleep, of my kids' sleep, and making sure that we need to get the blue blocker glasses that we definitely need to get. But I sleep is incredible. Absolutely. And I'm so happy that you wrote this book and that it's out there and that you're going to reach 1 billion people with it. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So let's talk about now what everyone has been talking about. This new thing, intermittent fasting. What is it? Where can it be found? And how do we do it?
It's crazy. It's the #1 search term on Dr. Google. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
I never saw this coming, honestly. So intermittent fasting, let's get one thing straight. Although it is trending, it's a fad. People think it's a fad. It's not a fad. It's a fact. It's been around since the dawn of humankind. Like, the reason we exist is because our ancestors, they had to intermittent fast. They had to do extended fasting because they didn't have the food availability that we have today. So we're programmed this way. Amazing things start happening when you are in a fasted state, right? The natural cycle of life of human beings is the feast-famine approach.
Mm-hmm.
So this goes back to that cycle of life. And when you follow that, when you follow your ancestral roots, amazing things happen. Now, first things first, if you are a pure sugar burner, and I'll explain what that is, you have no business doing fasting yet. I would never teach somebody, and you read about it in my book. By the way, for your listeners and anybody watching, you can get the book for free if you go to fastingcheatsheet.com. You can get it for free today in your inbox. What I talk about is there's sugar burners and there's fat burners. So what does that mean? We are made up of trillions of cells. Our cells could only choose two things for fuel. Either it's burning sugar in the form of glucose, or fat in the form of body fat, and then that produces ketones, the keto diet. Most people, 90% of people, are sugar burners. They're in this constant fed state. They're overworked, their digestive system is taxed out, and they can't go 2 to 3 hours without food. Otherwise, they would be hangry and they'll punch somebody in the face. So that's a sign right there. That's an easy test. Skip a meal and see how you feel. If you skip a meal and you can't function, you're going to punch your coworker or your colleague in the face, you have some work to do. You are a sugar burner. So I would say step #1, before you even do some fasting, replace a lot of your carbohydrates in your diet with healthy fats, and just eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No snacks in between. Okay? Snacking is not healthy. It does not rev up your metabolism. And I'm here to tell you, if you want to age faster than anyone you know, then keep eating every 2 to 3 hours. You will age yourself faster. You will glycate your cells. Like when you bite into an apple and it turns brown, that's what you're doing every time you're snacking. So it's a myth that was passed on. There's zero science behind the fact that it's healthy for you. There's actually science that shows it is not healthy for you. So once you become fat adapted, you do the carb and fat switch for about 14 to 21 days, then we could talk about fasting. And here's an easy way to start it. You just go, your last meal is at 8 p.m. You don't eat anything after that. Your next meal is at 8 a.m. in the morning. 12-hour fast. Mm-hmm. That seems doable, right? And then you would just extend that until you could get to like a 16-hour fast. That's a good approach. If you could fast 16 hours and have an 8-hour eating window, that's a great way to remove interference and let your body heal itself. And intermittent fasting is not about cutting calories. It's not about eating less. It's about eating less often. You could have the same amount of calories, just have it within a specific window. So that's your feeding window. And then you have your feasting window, the feast-famine cycle. So that's the approach that I teach. And there's many, many different ways to do it. And if you want me to like dispel some common myths around fasting, I could do that as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. I know a lot of people want to know, okay, when I work out, right? A lot of people go to the gym, right? A lot of people, finish eating dinner 7, 8 o'clock at night, right? Get home, kids, blah blah blah, do what they do, and then they finish at 8 o'clock, but they're at the gym at 5, 6 in the morning. Would you recommend they eat before going to the gym so that they have energy? Because I know that for myself, I was doing this where I stopped eating at 8 o'clock in the evening, and then I would go to the gym, and then I'd work out for an hour in the morning. And when I was not eating, I felt that I was a lot weaker. But then I was able to drink my protein shake in the morning, and then go to work, and then go to the gym, and I felt stronger. I felt my workouts were stronger. I felt I was being able to lift heavier and do more. So what's your story on that? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think that if you were to like really work on building up your metabolic machinery and really teaching your body to utilize fatty acids for fuel, that you would actually benefit from fasting in the morning, doing your workout in the fasted state, and then actually continuing your fast for 2 to 5 hours. And I'll explain why. I know it's counterintuitive, but here's the thing: when you are fasted, your body increases all of these what's called counter-regulatory hormones.
Mm-hmm.
So when insulin is down, when you're not eating, these counter-regulatory hormones that run counter to insulin all go up. The one that I want to talk about is human growth hormone. When you fast, you get this surge in human growth hormone. And in fact, studies show a 2,000% increase in human growth hormone after a 24-hour fast in men, and a 1,300% increase in women after a 24-hour fast. Human growth hormone is muscle preserving, it's fat burning, it's anti-aging, it's a very powerful hormone. So you get this increase in human growth hormone during the fast. You're not going to tear down muscle. There's nothing to worry about there. Your
Right.
body's going to tear down some protein that's junky protein.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you break the fast, you build up new protein. You actually could put on size this way. So if I would say to put on a little bit of work with eating more fats, doing a little bit of some keto, dabbling in keto in and out, doing some more fast, and then trying this out in the morning. And once you become really fat adapted, you could really benefit because your body's pumping you full of energy when you're fasting.
Mm-hmm.
It thinks you need to go find food. So you can use that not
Right.
to go find food, but for your workout.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow. Okay. All right. What other myths are there about intermittent fasting?
Yeah, the muscle thing for sure. I'll just give you an analogy that I give people. The human body is much more sophisticated than we will ever know. It's such a wonderful freaking thing. I don't even know how to describe it. It's
Machines.
machine. Yeah, it's a wonderful machine, whatever it is. And it's not stupid enough to eat food and use that food to be stored as body fat and then burn muscle when the chips are down, right? That's like saving firewood all summer long. You're saving all this firewood, which is going to be like your body fat. You're saving all this firewood, and then winter comes around and you have all this firewood stored up, which is your body fat.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of using it, you go and you grab your couch, you chop it up and throw that into the furnace. It makes no sense. The body's not going to do that. It's going to go into your body fat for fuel. We eat food, we store body fat. We don't eat food, we burn body fat. That's the way it works. So that the body will not tap into muscle until you reach 5% body fat or less. So that myth we put to bed. The second thing is people think that it's going to slow down your metabolism. That's one I get all the time. Like, aren't I going to go into starvation mode, Ben? I get that. No, actually, studies show a 10% increase in your metabolism after a 4-day fast.
Wow.
And how does that even make sense? Well, the counter-regulatory hormones, you have norepinephrine, you have cortisol, you have your sympathetic nervous system. These all get activated when you're fasting because your body, remember, it thinks you need to find food. So you are hardwired for it to pump you full of energy so you can go out there in the wild and hunt and kill your next meal. But you entrepreneurs, you're going to use this as a hack, not to go and hunt and kill a meal, but to crush a sales call, to crush a presentation, to crush an interview. So it's pumping you full of energy. It's increasing your metabolism. So that's been put to bed as well. So those are two of the most common myths out there. And fasting is one of the most powerful ancient healing strategies and tools that you can do. Get my book. I answer the top 20 questions on fasting, and you'll be really blown away by its benefits.
Yes, fasting is fantastic. It's a great way to start over, to kind of reset the body and reset the mind at the same time, so that everything's in sync. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you this. So we do the 12 hours, right? We go the whole night. into the morning without eating, what should be some of the first things we eat? Because a lot of people, they wake up and they go and they have their, their sausage and eggs and bacon. And by the time they're done with breakfast, they've had all their calories and fat for the entire day. So what would be good way of getting the engine revved up after it being, silent or what's the word?
To break the fast.
Yeah.
What would be the best way to break the fast? Yeah. You said it though. Fasting is nature's reset button. Absolutely. I like protein, fat, and fiber for breakfast. If you choose to eat breakfast, I personally don't. I think breakfast is not the most important meal of the day. I think it's the dumbest meal of the day. But if you choose to eat breakfast, protein, fat, and fiber. So I'm okay if that sausage is grass-fed beef sausage or some organic variety. The eggs are pastured eggs. Protein, fat, and fiber is where it's at. That's going to keep your glucose steady, stable, and your insulin stable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really focus on. I really don't care about calories. I don't care about the total fat that you're eating, or the only thing that I care about are the total carbs. So
the total carbs.
Yeah, the total carbs. So sometimes I have my clients kind of monitor that just to get them into ketosis and then get in and out of ketosis. But calories don't really matter as long as you're doing your fasting and you're eating from a healthy list of foods. You're eating a lot of green leafy vegetables. You're eating protein, fat, and fiber. That's great. Here's a great option for breakfast: a fatty smoothie, right? Coconut milk with ice and a vegan protein or a collagen protein powder with some like almond butter or pecans or whatever you want in there. That's great. If you want to have some fruit, I like berries as an option, like blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, and pomegranate and grapefruit. Those are great options. So yeah, any of those are fine for me in my book in the morning.
Okay. Yeah. And just to clarify, when I mean breakfast, for me, breakfast is relative of when I want to start eating.
Okay. So when you actually break the fast is what you mean.
Right, to break the fast, not necessarily morning time in the morning to have breakfast. It's when people are coming off the break, right? Coming off the fast.
Yeah. So that's a great point. I'm glad that you clarified that. So the best thing to break the fast with is bone broth. I think that's the best thing. Yeah. So there's a great brand called Kettle and Fire. They have grass-fed bone broth. You just drink some of that, and then you could have your whatever it is, your avocado and eggs, a fatty salad, or whatever it is that you're having. But bone broth is my favorite.
Okay, great. And your third book, The Perfect Health Booklet. We got a few minutes left.
Yeah, I mean that's just a general book. Actually, it's just a simple booklet that teaches you just the simple steps that you can do every single day that'll transform your health. And what I mean by perfect health is normal. You get your body to function the way it was designed to function.
Right.
It's going to thrive. It's not going to just merely survive and get disease. So that's just some simple steps for you to understand. I have a chapter about fasting. I have a chapter about sleep. I have a chapter about mindset. So that's a very easy read. A teenager could read it. You could read it in about less than an hour. So any of those books are great. And if you want to, learn more about me, I have an online health coaching program, which is called the Shred Fat Mastermind. So if you go to shredfatmastermind.com, you can learn more about it. I do group coaching. I have a wonderful group of people that I teach what I learn every single week. And I would love to meet some of you.
Oh, that's fantastic. So that's great. Shredfat.com, and you've got the mastermind group, and that's fantastic. And for the last section of the show, let's talk about your actual business. Okay, so there's a lot of people out there talking about training and talking about health and whatnot. You're going into a very full industry of many people with ideas, and we're talking about nutrition, and everybody's got their ideas about food and what food should be and what food is, and what does it do, and so forth. What were some of the challenges you had in starting your health business, your coaching business, and what was it that helped you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, awesome question. Attention. If nobody knows me, they can't flow me. I can't help them if they don't know that I have these services to offer them. So number one is obscurity. Not enough people know who I am. That's why I do these conversations, and what's helped with that, to answer that question, is massive action. Setting my goals, 10x my goals, right? It's not about accomplishing those goals that I have set out, the 1 billion or the whatever income, and it's about who I become on my pursuit of those goals, right?
Yes.
The things I need to do, the people I need to meet People need to help to accomplish those goals. That's what really lights me up, because I look back just a year ago, I was not working. I owned a CrossFit gym, and I was trading time for money. And I enjoyed it, but I wasn't doing what I'm doing now, which I get to talk to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, as long as I could beat yesterday, and my mantra is discipline equals freedom. When I don't want to do something, I don't let my emotions determine my action. I let my mantra determine my action, which is discipline equals freedom. There's going to be a time where you don't want to work out. You don't want to eat that salad.
That's
you don't
right.
want to do an interview. But hey, we all experience that. You have kids. When your kids were babies and they woke up in the middle of the night and they had their diaper that needed to be changed, you were tired. You wanted to go to sleep, but you did it anyways, because that's what you need to do. You need to look at your business that way, and your actions that way. And that's the way I look at things.
That's great. That's amazing. And so you said you went out and you were a personal trainer, and then
Not
you went
anymore.
out. Not anymore. No, I'm saying you went out. You became a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And then you went out, and then now you're a health coach, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So
So take us through that. Like, when someone approaches you, when they call you, when they look you up, what is the process that you take people through?
Okay, got it. Yeah. So now I'm a health coach. I have two programs. So I have the one that I just shared with you, which is called the Shred Fat Mastermind. This is group health coaching. There's a weekly call. You have all my files and protocols. This is more of a general approach, and you get to get access to me. That you're learning what I'm learning. I'm sharing with you what I learned, and I educate you. I don't medicate you. I teach you. I don't treat you. That's more of a group setting. If you want more of a customized approach, you want to work with me one-on-one, I do take on a handful of clients, and I work with them for several months, and I get their body just thriving, rock star status. It feels like you have superpowers. So I do work one-on-one with a select few of clients. And what I do is I have a 4-pillar approach to health success. Number one is adapt. I have them become fat adapted. Remember when I talked about the cells, it wants fat, because the cell membrane is made up of fat and cholesterol. So if you could teach your cells to use fat for fuel, that is a natural, clean source of energy. But when it's burning sugar for fuel, that's like burning firewood inside of a house. It's going to create a lot of smoke, and it's going to be a toxic environment. But when you transfer to being fat adapted in my adapt pillar, you're going to be using like a natural gas stove that burns very cleanly. So that's number one. Number two, I have them do some fasting. I customize it based off of them and where they want to be. That's my second pillar, which is fast. Third pillar is phase. I go all into keto for a short period of time. I don't believe it's a good long-term approach, but I force their cells to choose fat for fuel for 5 weeks. And then I do the last pillar, which is called flex. So now I teach them how to go in and out of ketosis, and they have the flexibility to have control over their decisions and their health and just everything in general.
Wow, it's amazing that you actually give people control of their body. You teach people how to go from one state of being to another state of being. And this is kind of what I do with the state of mind training and whatnot, is teaching people to visualize where they want to go, teaching them how to get there, and now letting them do it for themselves. But having control over your body and saying, now I want you to burn fat. Let's go. I'm going to do it. That is power, because now you're taking your health, you're taking your life into your hands, and there's nobody to point fingers after that. You can't, it's not going, hey, you know what? Big Pharma did this to me. McDonald's did this to me. No, now and you have the tools, right? And that's extremely, extremely powerful. And I if I was wearing a hat, I'd take my hat off to you.
Thank
but
you.
that is fantastic. And when is your next? Are you doing? Are you speaking on stage? Do you do any live events?
Yeah. I'm actually speaking next weekend, December 8th, here in Hollywood, Florida. So if you want to go to that event, it's going to be a 3-hour event. You go to mindfulevents.com/IamSuperhuman, or you can just look me up on Facebook, Ben Azadi. I post about it all the time. So I'll be speaking about health, and I have 2 colleagues of mine speaking about wealth and discipline. So we're talking about 3 areas of life, which is all what you talk about all the time: health, wealth, and discipline. It's like you get those pillars in check, everything else improves in your life. So yeah, December 8th is when my next speaking day is.
Fantastic. So Ben, we got 2 minutes left. Why don't you really quickly run back all your contact info, how people can find you.
Yeah.
all over the internet?
Yeah. I'm very active on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, go to @the_Ben_Azadi and definitely follow me. I'll follow you back, and that's a great place to reach me. If you want to be a part of my online health coaching program, which, by the way, I say health coaching, but it's also life coaching. Like the mindset part, I can give you all the tools, but if you don't have it up here, you're not going to get the results you want. So we do life coaching. We actually go through a book every 30 days. We're going through the 4 agreements right now. We did How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a great community. So to learn more about that is shredfatmastermind.com. And then if you look me up on Facebook and just type in Ben Azadi, you could connect with me on there. And those are the 3 main places to find me. And I want to say one last thing to you, my friend. Thank you for the stand you are in this world for entrepreneurs, for yourself, for your family. I really enjoyed this conversation. I didn't know a lot of the stuff you shared about your father and your history and what you did in Israel. I really respect you, brother. And I'm so grateful that our paths crossed. You know, when you meet somebody, there's this frequency that you can't really see, but you feel. And I feel like we are on very similar frequencies. Mm-hmm. And I really admire you. And I want to acknowledge you for the work that you do and the stand you are and how you show up in this world, and say thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend. I want to reciprocate that right back to you. It's been an incredible pleasure speaking with you, and I appreciate everything that you're doing. I appreciate your mission and how you want to go out there and teach people to live a healthier, more exciting life, and I thank you for who you are, and I appreciate you for being here. I know you're very, very busy, and you know, it's been fantastic. So thank you so much. And to my travelers out there, this is Nitzan Mosri, your traveling investor, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week when we have another incredible guest on the show. And I'm going to leave you with an old blessing, an old prayer. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back, and may the sunshine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. Until next time, this is your traveling investor, Nitzan Mosri. Be well. I'll see you next week somewhere on Spaceship Earth. Take care.